All right, well, we are here for episode 5. We're in mid-May 2023. Yeah, to kind of get things started, I got a big announcement. I don't know if you guys heard. I think you have.
Oh, please tell us.
I can't stop, won't stop talking about it. We are getting a puppy, our first family puppy. So this is our second family dog, but the dog that we had at first in our family was Amanda's dog, and her name was Peanut. And so, rest
you guys
in
pick
peace,
that name
Peanut.
already or not?
We picked out that it's a golden retriever, very handsome puppy. His name's Benny.
Benny, wow.
Benny the Jet from Sandlot. Our family, we do a lot of, baseball and softball. So our kids named the dog Benny the Jet.
Is this the right time to discuss the process of you accepting a dog in your household? You were under siege for a long time.
Oh yes. So little backstory about the puppy.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. I love it.
So my kids, they've been asking for a dog for several years. I mean, ever since probably Max was 2, but we had a dog then, and I think Peanut died about 6 years ago. Rest in peace, Peanut. And and so and I've just said no. We're really busy, and every night we have ball practices, we have church activities. Work can be busy at times, and I've always said no. But since the new year, the politics for our house, I was under siege, as you said, and I got a contract signed by my oldest son, Max. He gave me all the pros of having a dog, and he gave a commitment card of what he's going to do, and he said he's not going to ask for other things. He just wants this dog, golden retriever, Benny. And
did that really change your mind? That contract?
Oh no, it did not. It did not. But
He's gonna see it.
and then all the other kids said that they would, love the dog and things like that. And I like dogs. It's just I think it's a big responsibility to take care of a puppy, and trying to raise a family. I think it's really hard. They got firmer and firmer with their asks and persuasions, and it got to a point where I felt like I had no options other than to say yes. So time will tell. They think Benny and I will become best friends. We'll see. So what's your guys' experience been with puppies? Do you guys have puppies or kittens? I'm familiar with cats. I grew up with cats. So.
No cats.
All right.
Thank the Lord.
What do you have again? I think cats are fine.
It's okay. Different segment. But
Cats
dogs, yes, love dogs. I was under siege twice in my life, so I understand where you're coming from. The second was a very hardcore, let's go look at it. And of course I gave in, and we came home with a dog. I had no option. It is what it is. But the golden doodle that I got the second time around was more of mine, or I agreed to more than the first one. And actually was really easy, to be honest with you.
And you love that dog.
And I love that dog. He had one accident, so prepare for accidents. Thankfully, hopefully you don't have a carpet.
No, we do, but the kids say they're gonna clean up.
So had one accident, and he was so smart that he never had another one. So I was thankful, happy, and I was like, if I can get another golden doodle that acts this way, I would do it. That's how happy I was with it. But as of late, he went to the vet, and he was told he was fat.
Is it your dog's fault or your fault?
I think it's our fault, or Kavika's fault, which is my 1-year-old son. I don't know, did you guys have any dog experience?
So funny, actually. So I had 2 dogs growing up, but funny enough, we turned them almost into cats. So my dogs, they are go and they'll sit on the top of because they're little small dogs. They go and sit on the top of the furniture like that. And then also you put your hand right there, and their jaw goes right here. You put them right here. You start petting them like this, and then they just purr nonstop like cats.
Wow.
What about?
What do you know? Do you remember what?
So one was a Boston Terrier that we got on Easter actually when I was really young. Lily,
Cool.
She no longer crawls on this earth, but that's okay. And then Bella we got when I was 8 or something like that, and she still is crawling on this earth, and she's a Shih Tzu.
Oh, I love Shih Tzu.
Yeah, they're so
So I had a client, and they're out of town, and so they just need some help one day just taking them out. And I was like, yeah, no problem. But he's the greatest dog ever. And I would get there, and then I was just checking on the house, just walk around, make sure no water in the basement. And then then he needed to use the restroom, so he grabbed my shoes, went to the back door, no barking, and then just showing he needed to use the restroom. Went to the restroom, went outside, did it. Awesome. You know, it's the cutest thing in the world. They had a daughter at the time. I think she was 3 or 4. The Shih Tzu and her are the best friends. It was the most beautiful thing in the world. So big fan of Shih Tzus. Big fan.
That's a good boy.
But yeah, so.
I think it'd be helpful if you guys want to jot down some comments for us. That'd be great on how to raise a puppy or best practice.
That's
Some
right.
best practices for Jason's sanity, because I think having puppies is like having a child a little bit. So
Hey, you know what? I have 4 children and I'm having a 5th one.
That's
now. A fur baby. I'm not ready for that.
So please help us out. That you guys will help his sanity out. So it'd be good.
So with the weather getting nice out, I think we think a lot of times April is for spring cleaning. But this last April, there was no consistent decent weather. It was raining, it was freezing. I think we had some snow. Really May for Iowa is spring cleaning. So what are some tips that people should be doing as homeowners in the spring?
So a couple things. I would say we're talking about make sure your gutters and downspouts are clean and the drain water gets away from the house. When they clutter and the water isn't going where you want it to, it can cause drainage issues, setting concrete, bowing foundation walls, and wet basements. So just water damage all in general. Also, it's an easy time to service the AC systems. So you want to make sure the system is operating as it should. Also, you want to clean your windows. This means not only the glass, but also the frames, tracks, guides, and sills. If you have wood exterior, make sure that the paint is all good. Finally, just inspect the roof and just the exterior.
Absolutely, and it's easy like in the springtime, you're thinking about summer activities, things like that. It's really easy to focus on decluttering, but doing these little tips that you mentioned are really important because it allows things not to have deferred maintenance. Recently, I was reminded of how disgusting sewer line inspections are. They are necessary, you gotta do it. But I took a step back, I'm like, wow, this is really dirty. Why is it dirty? It's like, oh, okay. So it's pretty gross. But yeah, so I think it's important that you get a sewer line inspection when you buy a house. Moncee, you've watched sewer line videos. Do you have that same reaction where you're like, this is kind of gross?
Yes. I've seen really nice sewer lines. I've seen really dirty sewer lines. And then I've seen sewer lines.
Non-existent.
Not existing sewer lines. That's true. That's a good point. But I mean, to Jason's point, I would keep in mind of like a sewer line being almost like a colonoscopy. That's what I try to prepare. I try to prepare people for because like it's like that. Correct.
So you want to make sure things are passing through.
Correct.
And so anytime you buy a house, you just want to know the condition of the sewer line. A lot of times it's just a pass-fail. So it's almost like we talked about gutters earlier. It's like a gutter. You just want to make sure if it's too full or too packed in, then it's like it needs to be cleaned out. And you want to just make sure it's in good condition in light of its age. I mean, everything has a life cycle. So if it's a certain type of sewer line, it has a certain life cycle, and it's to be expected. The goal is to make sure that it's operational.
Correct.
Because what happens is, I've had this happen in my first house we lived in. It's like if you have a blockage, in the sewer line, then everything goes back and goes into your house. That's the type of stuff you just don't want.
Yeah.
So it goes up through the middle of your drain and things like that. You just want to be proactive in your sewer line and make sure it's insured. So speaking of life cycles, what type of sewer lines are there and that we see commonly here in Des Moines?
So there's 4 main kinds of sewer lines that we see here in Des Moines. There is Orangeburg, clay tile, cast iron, and PVC.
Yep.
But we'll start with clay tile. The lifespan would be like 50 to 60 years. It's resistant to chemical corrosion in respect to the other sewer lines we have.
The thing about clay tile when it was installed, a lot of it is like oversized. So it's like sometimes they're way bigger than other ones, like 6 inches. So I've seen clay tile be in great condition at 100-plus-year-old. It just depends on installation and tree roots. A lot of times they're like, I think it's like 3 feet. And then they're connected together. So it's not uncommon that you'll get tree roots or roots in there, just clean out, but the whole clay tile is still in great shape. And just because you have it at your house, that doesn't mean it's bad. Right. It means it could be totally great in life and say, just make sure you get insurance on it. And what's nice about clay tile, and one of the pros too, is that you can replace a section. It's not a total tear out. So if there's a bad section, you can just replace the section versus doing a whole, the whole shebang on that.
Yeah.
So
Let's hit Orangeburg next. So Orangeburg was really used during World War II when iron and steel were in high demand for the war. How long do those typically last?
Well, they start deteriorating after 30 years, but again, with all sewer lines, it really just depends on how it's put in and how it's maintained. But typically, these are the lifespan on these ones are the shortest.
And what are some pros and cons with?
Well, they're really light in terms of initial cost. It's pretty cheap to put in, but like I said, because it only lasts 30 to 50 years, depends how long you're staying there and like how. Just how things go, because if they break, then that's an expensive thing. But the initial cost is a little bit cheaper. It's easy to cut and shape into different sizes and whatever you need. What about some cons? What you got for cons?
Just because it's made out of like wood pulp and pitch, it does deteriorate faster.
Yeah, and I think the big thing too about it is it's like when you have a bad section, like if it does cave in, like you have to replace the whole sewer line, with that. So that is a con, but very much your specific sewer line. And so just because you have it doesn't mean it's game over with. Because I've seen those last, what year is this? 20? I've seen it last, 75 plus years, and it's still functional, it's still fine. You just gotta know what you have.
It's important to know that Orangeburg, the way they function is they start out here, and then over time, they kind of collapse, and you do an oval shape, and then boom, it's over. So just a food for thought, adding to it. So if you guys do a sewer line inspection, you know what to expect in one as well.
Yeah, get that sewer line insurance. If it's functional, that's great. Get that sewer line insurance, and just love your house. So.
Yeah. So next we have cast iron, and so that was probably next before PVC. What was like the timeline of that, Jordan?
Well, so they started gaining popularity in the 18th, 19th century when urban areas started just getting more densely populated. And fun fact, actually, so it was big in London also. That's where it started really expanding. And actually, because of this, there was a lot of cholera expansions. If you don't know what cholera is, pretty much it's just getting your sewer line water getting into your drinking water, and so getting feces and stuff in your body, and you get incredibly dehydrated. And that's how you die. So fun fact. Fun fact.
Great.
I don't think that sounds very fun.
It's not fun. It's not fun, but it is a fact.
Interesting fact.
Hey, Drake University. That's what I got. Cholera.
Yeah.
But yeah, they last a really long time, 1,500 years. Again, it really depends on when it was put in, and then how it's maintained.
It was used for a long time, but during World War II, they needed an alternative because they're using everything for the wartime effort. So they stopped using iron for vehicles and weapons, things like that. So they used Orangeburg.
The main con that I found is that it's just super expensive because it's so labor intensive to put it in to the ground, and so that's the main con. But it does last a long time.
I always seen cast iron more like you said, Jason, earlier, pass or fail. I mean, the ones that I've seen have been is it really good or really bad? So, and that's basically it. And when I say really bad, I'm talking about it's broken, and you got to go in there and just replace that guy anyway. So
for sure. That's good. So probably with how expensive it is probably lended to the reason why people start using PVC. So and that's the next sewer line. It's very common here in New York.
PVC was
First, what does PVC stand for, Maddie?
Jordan, what is PVC?
I wanted to see if she got it down. Okay, so it stands for polyvinyl chloride.
Oh.
Yep, there you go.
Sounds pretty fancy.
Anywho, Drake University, baby, what's up? Pretty much it was introduced in 1970, 1980s type deal when technology started evolving and we can put chemicals in it, and it's really nice because it's really chemical resistant. So a lot of stuff doesn't build up in there, so it's nice. It's lightweight, it's durable. Smooth, efficient interior flow, like I said before.
It has less joints, so
less joints, yeah, so
less get in to cause that.
Some cons though is it does have thermal expansion, so with hot and cold, that could be a potential problem. It's vulnerable to impact damage, so like we've been saying throughout this, it's when you install it, that will determine a lot for how it'll be for your lifespan.
Kind of tie this all together. So the importance of a sewer line inspection is just to really know what type you have, make sure it's functioning so you can get insurance on it. If there are any issues with it, it's important to negotiate that with the seller during that process, during the inspection. I've seen crazy stories before. I've seen sewer lines go underneath entire highways. Douglas, even though it's a 4-lane street, it can go 35 to 40 in the Beaverdale area. It is considered a highway. So for that specific house, it costs over $40,000 to do a whole new sewer line. Does that mean it's a bad thing that the sewer line goes that way? No, but you just need to know as a homeowner of what you have, the condition, the age, things like that. And I think the next thing is to get insurance. So we encourage all of our buyers to do a sewer line inspection. The newer the home, it's more debatable if the homeowner wants to do it. We still put it in their court to decide if they want to do a sewer line inspection or not. So thank you for all of that information there. So we got a hype alert. We got a hype right now. So pump it up. That's right. So a hype alert right now here in Polk County, you may qualify for a $30,000 down payment deferred loan. So what that means is that if you qualify, you can have $30,000 of your loan that you don't have to pay for principal or interest on. So roughly $130 to $150 a month that could save you and help you with buying power. So to fill us in more details, we got Moncee right here. So Moncee, can I share some highlights on this program?
To start off with, keep in mind, it just came out. There's still a lot of developing criteria that come with it. One is an income restriction on it. Income restriction is very important because it determines on your household. So just trying to gear to a specific income in general, just kind of generally speaking. The other one, you have to be in Polk County. Polk County, unfortunately, if you're in Story City or Ames or anything like that, unfortunately for you guys, is not part of, you guys are not part of the program. But if you guys decide to move to Des Moines, Polk County, you're back in it. So you have to be in the home as a primary residency as well. If I'm not mistaken, also it was
just you only can own one home.
One home at the time.
So you can sell your house.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you sell your house and buy in the same day, but you only can own one home. So
one home at the time, and then I think the most important part as well is that there's only a few amount of lenders that are able to do this type of program as well. So if you have a current loan officer that you're working with today or you're going to work with in the future, make sure, and you're looking at this program, make sure you ask them about it. If not, please ask us as well, as we do have a few list of lenders that are, again, under the preferred for this program, or if you want advice on, hey, which loan officers, well, we're more than happy to help as well. I'm gonna quickly come back to the top as well on the income piece, on the medium household piece, just to kind of give you guys an idea on the income piece. If it's one person, $55,200 and below, you qualify for that. If it's two, $63,050, you qualify for that. And then I'm gonna jump up to 5, which is a little bit, I guess, common, you say? No?
Yeah, 3 kids.
Three kids, so
yeah.
5, $85,150 qualify for that. Now, again, if there's any other question you guys have, please message us, research a little bit if you guys wanted to, but let us know whatever we can help you out with to understand this program better. There's a limited spots available for this. So it's 167 buyers that can exercise that. So there's a little bit of qualifications. Again, don't expect you guys to remember everything, but please message us. Let us know how we can help you with this program and kind of guide you through it. But I think those are the big main highlights.
Yeah. So if you are a buyer that is using 2023 to try to work on your savings account to buy a house in 2024, right now we want you to hit the pause button to consider to see if you qualify for this $30,000 down payment assistance program. There's only 167 households that will get this, but you might as well look into it. It's interest free. When you sell your house, you will pay it off at that point, but this might be a great opportunity for you. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'll send you all the details, see if you qualify. But this is a great opportunity, especially if you're a family of 4+, more than likely you're gonna qualify. You might as well reach out and learn more about this program. We anticipate year in and year out, homes appreciate in value. So if you can get your foot in the door and buy a house that you can afford, you'll set yourself up really well for 2024. So right now is a good time to buy. So if you are interested in this grant program, please reach out to us and we can fill you in all the details. Yeah. That's it. Thank you guys. Until next time.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Should we
Till
clap
next time.
again?
So.
And